The fork clattered against the plate like a gunshot in the tense silence of the dining room, shattering the fragile piece of Thanksgiving dinner. Ronald's mother, Evelyn, let out a sharp, mocking laugh that sliced through him deeper than any knife ever could, her eyes, once soft with maternal pride, now glittering with disdain as tears streamed down his cheeks. "Oh, Ronnie, pull yourself together," she sneered, her voice dripping with false pity. "Crying like a little girl over some boy? This family's got enough drama without your..." "Whatever this is." Ronald wiped his face with the back of his hand, the salt of his tears mixing with the bitter taste of turkey that suddenly turned to ash in his mouth. The room, stuffed with the scent of overcooked stuffing and Aunt Clara's perfumed excess, closed in like a bad dream he couldn't wake from. His father's heavy silence from the head of the table was worse than words. Harold Jenkins had always been a man of few, his disappointment etched in the furrows of his brow like fault lines waiting to crack. And there was Uncle Ted, red-faced and chuckling into his mashed potatoes, muttering under his breath about kids these days and their city nonsense. It was 2018, and Ronald was 25, fresh out of a dead-end job at the local mill in their Rust Belt hometown of Erie, Pennsylvania. He'd driven 3 hours from Pittsburgh that morning, heart pounding with a mix of hope and dread, because this was supposed to be the year he came out. Not in some grand, televised spectacle like those queer icons on TV, but quietly, over pie, to the people who'd raised him on stories of hard work and straight arrow values. Levi had urged him to do it, Levi, with his easy Midwestern drawl and those calloused hands from years fixing up old cars in his uncle's garage. "Babe, family's family," Levi had said that morning over coffee in their cramped apartment, his green eyes steady as he squeezed Ronald's knee. "They'll come around. Or they won't. But you gotta breathe free." But freedom felt like a noose tightening around his throat now. The words had tumbled out after the grace. Simple, raw, "Mom, Dad, everyone. I'm gay. I've been seeing someone. His name's Levi, and I love him." The clatter of silverware had followed, then the laughter. Not all of it. Cousin Mia had looked away, uncomfortable, her fork scraping porcelain, but enough to drown him. Evelyn's cackle had been the loudest, a hyena's howl disguised as concern. "Love? Oh, honey, that's just a phase. Remember your cousin Jerry? He got over his experimental college fling and married that nice girl from church. You'll snap out of it too. Snap out of it." As if his heart were a rubber band, stretched too thin and ready to break. Ronald pushed back from the table, chair legs screeching against the linoleum, and bolted for the door, the cold November air hitting him like a slap when he stumbled onto the sagging porch. Snow flurries danced under the street lamp, mocking his unraveling. Behind him, the screen door banged open. "Ronnie, wait!" It was Mia, her voice a whisper shout, coat half on. "They're assholes. Okay, but they're scared. Give them time. Time." He'd given them 25 years of pretending, of burying crushes on the quarterback in high school gym class, of dating girls whose touches felt like sandpaper on his skin. No more. He climbed into his beat-up Ford Focus, engine coughing to life, and peeled out of the driveway, tires spinning gravel like accusations. The drive back to Pittsburgh blurred through tears and wipers, the radio crooning some country ballad about lost love that only made it worse. By the time he pulled up to their apartment building, a faded brick walk-up in the shadow of the steel mills, dusk had fallen, and Levi was waiting on the stoop, bundled in a flannel jacket, a six-pack dangling from one hand. Ronald killed the engine and just sat there, forehead against the wheel, until Levi's shadow fell across the windshield. The door opened with a creak, and strong arms pulled him out into an embrace that smelled of motor oil and pine soap. "Hey, cowboy," Levi murmured, voice low and steady against Ronald's ear. "Rough go. Worse than rough." Ronald's words muffled into Levi's shoulder, sobs racking him like aftershocks. "They laughed. Lev. Laughed at me crying. Called it a phase. Like I'm some kind of joke." Levi held him tighter, one hand rubbing slow circles on his back. "Fuck him. You're no joke. You're the best damn thing that's happened to me since I left that cornfield hellhole in Iowa." He pulled back just enough to cup Ronald's face, thumbs brushing away the damp trails. Levi was 30, broader in the shoulders from years under hoods, with a jawline that could cut glass and eyes that crinkled at the corners when he smiled, which he did now, soft and sure. "Come on inside. I've got pizza warming and that shitty rom-com you like queued up. We'll cry it out together." Inside, the apartment was a testament to their scavenged life. Mismatched furniture from thrift stores, Levi's toolbox spilling over by the door, Ronald's sketchbooks stacked on the coffee table, doodles of buildings he'd one day design, if he could ever afford architecture school. They ate cross-legged on the couch, Levi feeding him bites between kisses that tasted like pepperoni and promise. But as the credits rolled, doubt crept in like fog off the Allegheny. "What if they're right?" Ronald whispered, tracing the tattoo on Levi's forearm, a compass rose, inked during a drunken night in Des Moines. "What if this? It's just running from something real." Levi set the remote down, turning to face him fully. "Real? Baby, this is the realest I've ever felt. Waking up to you humming off-key in the shower, fighting over the last slice, planning stupid road trips to nowhere. Your family's blind if they can't see that." He leaned in, lips brushing Ronald's temple. "But if you need to prove it to them or to yourself, then let's do it. What's the dream? That big house in the burbs? We'll get there. Brick by brick." Ronald laughed, a watery sound, and pulled Levi down onto the cushions. Their bodies tangled in the dim lamplight, hands exploring with the familiar urgency of lovers who'd found solace in each other's skin. Levi's mouth was hot and insistent, mapping the curve of Ronald's neck, drawing gasps that chased away the echoes of laughter. It wasn't just sex, it was reclamation, a fierce yes to the life they'd chosen. As they moved together, sweat slick and breathless, Ronald felt the first stirrings of resolve. He wouldn't snap out of it. He'd build something unbreakable. The weeks that followed were a grind, the kind that tested the mettle of anyone chasing the American dream on minimum wage. Ronald worked doubles at the coffee shop downtown, slinging lattes to hipsters with trust funds, while Levi pulled overtime at the auto shop, grease under his nails and dreams in his eyes. They pooled every penny, cutting corners on groceries. Ramen nights became legendary, and skipping nights out for home-cooked experiments that sometimes ended in smoke alarms. But there were moments of light. Lazy Sundays tangled in sheets, Levi's fingers combing through Ronald's hair as they talked futures. Drives along the Ohio River at dusk, windows down, Bruce Springsteen blasting about Born to Run glory. Spring brought change. Ronald landed an interview at a small architecture firm in Oakland, across the river, entry-level drafting, but it was a foot in the door. He aced it, nerves jangling like loose change, and came home to Levi with takeout Thai and a bottle of cheap champagne. To blueprints and bad decisions, Levi toasted, clinking plastic cups, his grin wide enough to light the room. But shadows lingered. A letter arrived from Erie one rainy afternoon, postmarked in Evelyn's looping script. Ronald's hands shook as he slit the envelope, Levi hovering like a sentinel. Inside, a single page, typed stiffly on Harold's old underwood. Son, we've prayed on this. The church counselor says it's confusion from the city lights. Come home. Get right with God. Leave that lifestyle behind, and there's a job waiting at the mill. Forgiveness is a door. Don't let pride lock it. No mention of Levi. No apology for the laughs. Ronald crumpled it, fire in his chest. Pride? That's rich. He tossed it in the trash, but the words festered. That night, sleep evaded him, Levi's snores a distant comfort. By dawn, he'd made a decision. I want the house, Lev. Not some mansion, just ours. Proof that this life's worth it. Levi stirred, sleepy-eyed and tousled. Then we hunt. Tomorrow, they did. Weekends blurred into open houses. Cookie-cutter colonials in the suburbs, fixer-uppers in Lawrenceville with charm but no plumbing. Realtors eyed them sideways, two guys in their 20s, no rings, asking about two-bedroom ranches. But Levi's charm disarmed them, and Ronald's eye for structure-sealed deals on offers they couldn't afford yet. Savings grew, inch by inch, until one sweltering July day, they crunched numbers over diner coffee and realized it was possible. A modest bungalow in Swisshelm Park, $180,000, needing love but solid as their bond. The offer went in that afternoon. Acceptance came 2 days later. On a voicemail Ronald played on speaker, Levi whooping like they'd won the lottery. They celebrated with rooftop beers, the city skyline twinkling like approval. But as Levi pulled him close, whispering plans for herb gardens and a porch swing, Ronald's phone buzzed. Mia. Heads up, Ronnie. Mom's on a warpath. Heard you're playing house with that boy. Says it's a sin that'll drag you to hell. Dad's talking disownment. The joy curdled. Ronald stared at the skyline, lights blurring. Let him talk. We've got this. But doubt whispered. Did they? The closing loomed in September, a mortgage hanging like a sword. Work intensified, Ronald sketching late into nights, Levi wrenching engines till his back screamed. Whispers followed. A coworker at the shop cornering Levi one evening, Bible in hand, offering salvation from the devil's temptation. Levi laughed it off, but came home quieter, shoulders slumped. Then, the betrayal. Started small. A forgotten anniversary card from Evelyn, tucked in with a check for $500. For a fresh start, it read. Alone. Ronald cashed it anyway, jaw set, but the poison seeped. Levi noticed the distance, the way Ronald flinched at touches that once ignited him. Talk to me, Levi pleaded one night, rain lashing the windows. It's nothing, but it was everything, the fear that love like theirs was fragile, breakable under family weight. August burned hot and unrelenting, the kind of Pittsburgh summer that turned the streets into steam baths and tempers to tinder. Ronald threw himself into the firm's projects, drafting elevations for a community center that felt worlds away from his own fractured world. His boss, Marta, a no-nonsense Polish immigrant with a buzz cut and a laugh like gravel, saw potential in his lines, the way he blended function with soul. Kid, you've got heart in these sketches, she'd say, clapping his shoulder. Don't let the suits grind it out. It was the closest thing to family approval he'd felt in months, and he clung to it like a lifeline. Levi, meanwhile, bore the brunt at the garage. Old man Hargrove, his boss, had always been gruff but fair until the rumors started. Whispers from the other mechanics. Sidelong glances when Levi mentioned my guy over lunch. One Tuesday, it boiled over. Eddie, a burly vet with a cross tattooed on his bicep, cornered Levi in the break room during smoke break. Heard you're shacking up with Jenkins, boy. That true? Playing for the other team now. Levi stubbed out his cigarette. Slow and deliberate. Yeah, it's true. Ronald's the real deal. Problem? Eddie snorted, exhaling smoke like dragon breath. Just saying. Man. This ain't San Francisco. Folks talk. Hargrove's old school. Might not like it if it affects business. It did. By Friday, Levi was called into the office, Hargrove's face like thunder. Loyalty's everything here, son. But distractions. They cost. I'm letting you go. 2 weeks severance. Find your way. Levi drove home in silence, knuckles white on the wheel, the Ford's AC blasting futilely against the heat. Ronald was at the kitchen table when he walked in, blueprints spread like a battlefield map. Lev, you're early. Everything okay? Got canned. The words landed flat, Levi sinking into a chair, head in hands. Eddie ratted. Said I was distracted by us. Ronald's pencil snapped in his grip. That son of a will fight it. Unemployment. Sue for discrimination. No. Levi looked up, eyes red-rimmed but fierce. We can't afford the fight. Not with the house closing in 6 weeks. I'll bounce back. Temp gigs. Whatever. But the severance check was a band-aid on a gunshot. Bills piled. Utilities spiking in the heat. The apartment's leaky roof demanding repair. Ronald picked up bartending shifts at a dive in the Strip District, slinging Iron City beers to rowdy crowds who leered a little too long. One night, a regular, slick-haired salesman type slid a card across the bar after last call. You're too pretty for this dump, sweetheart. Call me. We could arrange things. Ronald pocketed it with a tight smile, but the nausea lingered. Home by 2 a.m., he found Levi asleep on the couch. Eviction notice crumpled in his fist. Hargrove's severance hadn't covered the rent hike. He shook Levi awake gently, curling against him. We'll make it, he whispered into the dark. For us. Levi stirred, pulling him closer. Always. Their lovemaking that night was slow, tender, a reaffirmation amid the storm. Levi's hands mapped Ronald's body like sacred ground, lips murmuring praises that banished the leers. In the afterglow, tangled and spent, Levi traced lazy patterns on Ronald's chest. Remember that trip to the Poconos? First weekend away. You burned the Esmores, and we laughed till dawn. Ronald smiled. Memory a bomb. Best char I ever tasted. We'll have that again. Porch fires in our yard. Kids' voices adopted. Whatever. A life. But reality intruded with Labor Day. The family reunion invite arrived via email. Mia. Apologetic. They're pretending you're not coming with him. But show up. Shake him. Ronald deleted it. Not yet. Instead, they focused on the house. Inspections passed. Loan approved. The bungalow was a beauty, 1920s bones. Hardwood floors scarred but salvageable. A backyard big enough for dreams. They signed papers in a stuffy bank office, hands trembling on the dotted line. Welcome home, Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Harlan, the loan officer said, a rare neutrality in his tone. Home. The word hummed like electricity. They moved in stages. First weekend, Levi's tools and Ronald's books. Second, the couch that barely fit through the door. By October, it was there's paint cans open, drop cloths everywhere. Levi wielded the roller like a sword, streaking walls in soft linen white, while Ronald hung shelves, hammering nails with vindictive force. Neighbors waved from across the fence. The Wilsons, a straight couple with a toddler, old Mr. Patel, who brought samosas as a welcome. Bliss, fragile as spun glass. Then the call came, mid-paint stroke. Unknown number, Erie area code. Ronald answered on speaker, Levi pausing with brush in hand. Ronnie, Evelyn's voice, thinner than he remembered, laced with something brittle. Mia's been talking. This house nonsense. With him. It's not nonsense. Mom. It's mine. Ours. Silence. Then a scoff. Ours? You're throwing away your birthright for a delusion. Your father, God. Ronnie, he's sick. Heart stuff. Doctor says stress. You think this doesn't kill him? Guilt twisted like a knife. I didn't ask for this. I just am. You're choosing sin over family. Her words cracked. Come home. Alone. Make it right. Levi's jaw tightened, but he stayed silent, eyes locked on Ronald's. No, the refusal burned. I love you, Mom. But I love him more. And this house? It's proof I'm building something real. Click. Dead air. Ronald sagged against the ladder, paint dripping forgotten onto his shoe. Levi crossed the room in 2 strides, enfolding him. You did good, babe. Did I? Tears pricked. What if it's killing him? Levi cupped his face. You're not killing anyone. Their hate is. Now Semir, we've got a living room to Kristen. They did. Right there on the drop cloth. Laughter mingling with moans as sunlight slanted through bare windows. It was messy, imperfect, paint smears on skin, but it was theirs. Undeniable. November brought frost and first snow, the house warming under their touch. Ronald advanced at the firm, Marta assigning him lead on a park pavilion. Your vision, kid. Make it sing. Levi landed steady work at a dealership in Shadyside, commuting with podcasts on queer history that made him grin. Holidays loomed, but they made their own tree from a lot, strung with dollar store lights, turkey Levi brine to perfection. Invites went out to Mia, to new neighbors. No Eries. Then, betrayal's shadow fell. It was Black Friday, crowds surging through malls. Ronald and Levi, hand in hand despite stares, hunting deals on linens. His phone buzzed, Mia. Voicemail. Ronnie. Oh God, Mom and Dad showed up at the closing office. Bribed the realtor or something. Pulled strings with the bank. Your loans. Frozen. Fraud alert. They said you're unstable, that lifestyle makes you a risk. The world tilted. Ronald played it again, Levi's face paling. What the fuck? They raced to the bank. Snow whipping like accusations. The officer, same one from closing, looked sheepish. Family called. Expressed concerns. Credit check flagged. Inconsistencies. Need verification. Inconsistencies. Ronald's voice rose. They lied. Sabotaged us. Papers shuffled. It's procedure. 30 days to clear. 30 days. Rent on the empty house. Mortgage payments starting. Levi's dealership gig barely covered basics. Panic clawed. That night, curled on the unfinished floor amid boxes, Ronald broke. They win, Lev. We can't. No. Levi's voice steel. We fight. Together, but cracks formed. Levi stayed late at work, stress etching lines around his eyes. Ronald sketched furiously, designs turning dark, jagged roofs like thorns. Whispers at the firm, heard Jenkins boys got family drama. Careful. The standoff stretched into December. Mia visited, smuggling apologies and a poinsettia. They're broken, Ronnie. Dad's in denial, Mom's quoting Leviticus like scripture bullets. But I see you happy. Don't let them steal it. Her words fueled him. They appealed the bank. Lawyers consulted on shoestring budgets. Levi sold his truck for down payment scraps. Ronald pawned a watch from Grandpa. Ironic, the man who'd taught him to build birdhouses. Solidarity from neighbors. Patel's wife baked casseroles. Wilsons watched their stuff during court runs. Christmas Eve. Under twinkling lights, Levi knelt by the tree. Not proposal, but promise. This house is us, Ron. Walls will paint with our story. No matter what. Tears fell, but Ronald pulled him up, kissing fierce. Forever. Dawn brought news. Fraud cleared. Bank's apology curt, but the keys jingled true. They moved the last box that afternoon, snow blanketing the yard like forgiveness. But Evelyn's final card arrived New Year's. You've chosen. Don't come back. The stung, but the door closed softer now. Winter gripped Pittsburgh like a jealous lover, ice sheeting the Monongahela and turning commutes into ballets on blacktop. The bungalow stood defiant, its chimney puffing wood smoke from the fireplace Levi had salvaged from a demo site. Inside, life took root. Ronald's drafting table by the bay window, Levi's workbench in the garage sprouting like a mechanical garden. Mornings began with coffee brewed strong, shared over the Formica counter. Levi's foot hooked around Ronald's ankle, a silent anchor. But the sabotage lingered like frostbite. Ronald's sleep fractured with nightmares. Family faces morphing into demons, the house crumbling to ash. He'd wake gasping, Levi's arms a harbor. They're ghosts, babe. Levi would murmur, lips to his pulse. We're flesh and blood. Flesh, yes. Their intimacy deepened in the house's hush, rooms echoing with rediscovered hunger. The master bedroom, with its creaky oak bed frame, became sanctuary, nights of slow exploration, Levi's tongue tracing constellations on Ronald's skin, drawing out pleas that shattered silence. You're mine, Levi breathed once, buried deep, eyes locked in the moonlight. All mine, Ronald arched, lost in the rhythm, the world narrowing to heat and heartbeat. It was more than release. It was ritual, binding wounds with want. Work steadied. Marta's pavilion project bloomed under Ronald's hand, a curved pavilion evoking wings, sustainable and soaring. This is you, Jenkins, she said at review, pinning sketches to the board. Broken lines into beauty, Levi's dealership thrived. He charmed customers with that Iowa grin, upselling warranties like confessions. Evenings, they'd debrief over takeout, triumphs, petty office wars, dreams half-spoken. Yet undercurrents pulled. Mia's calls grew sporadic, laced with strain. Dad's worse. Refuses meds. Rants about you turning your back. Mom's popping pills like candy. Ronald's guilt gnawed. A rat in the walls. he drafted letters, unsent, pouring out love tangled with rage. You laughed. But look, I'm standing. Levi sensed it, countering with distractions. Valentine's Day, he blindfolded Ronald, leading him to the backyard where fairy lights strung a makeshift arbor, a picnic of heart-shaped sandwiches and wine. To us, Levi toasted, feeding him strawberries, juice-staining lips. They made love under stars, blankets muffling cries, the cold air sharpening every touch. See, world's ours. Spring thawed the ice, but not the rift. Buds unfurled on the maples lining their street, and with them, opportunity. The firm bid on a community center in Erie, irony's cruel joke. Ronald lobbied Marta. Let me lead. Show them home can change. She agreed. I sharp. Don't let ghosts haunt the lines. Pittsburgh to Erie. 2 hours, but Ian's in heart miles. Site visits stirred ghosts. Driving past the mill, the family Cape Cod shuddered like a tomb. One afternoon, staking markers by Presque Isle Bay, he spotted Harold's truck at a diner. Pulse thundering, Ronald entered, the bell jangling like judgment. Dad hunched over coffee, thinner, gray stubble silvering his jaw. He looked up, eyes widening shock, then steel. What are you doing here? Work. Ronald slid into the booth opposite, voice even. Big project. Pavilion for the rec center. Harold grunted, stirring sugar endlessly. Fancy. Wastin' talent on that. It's not waste. It's building. Pause. How's your heart? Fine. Like, obvious in the tremor. How's your friend? Levi's good. We bought a house. Fixed it up ourselves. Silence stretched, heavy as the lake fog outside. Harold's fingers drummed the mug. Heard. Mia blabbed. Foolish. Throwin' money at sin. Sin. Ronald leaned in, voice low. Love's no sin, Dad. You taught me to build strong. That's what I did with him. Harold's eyes flickered, pain, perhaps regret, then hardened. Bible says love thy neighbor. Not mock thy son. Ronald stood, chair scraping. I'm not asking forgiveness. Just heal. For you. He walked out, wind whipping tears, but shoulders straighter. Back in Pittsburgh, he told Levi over dinner, words tumbling. Levi listened, then pulled him across the table for a kiss that tasted of vindication. Proud of you, he said, foreheads touching. Warrior, but warriors tire. The Erie project consumed Ronald nights of revisions, models mocking up in clay. Levi's hours stretched too, a promotion dangling if he nailed a fleet contract. Tension simmered. Forgotten laundry, snapped words over thermostats. One stormy April night, it erupted. Ronald came home late, sketches sodden, to find Levi on the couch, phone in hand, face ashen. Who was it? Ronald demanded, dripping on the rug. Levi hesitated. Eddie. From the old shop. Apologizing, sorta. Said Hargrove regrets the firing. Pressure from church friends. Offered me back in. Ronald's stomach dropped. And I said no. Levi tossed the phone. But you should have seen his pity. Like we're lepers. We're not. Ronald sank beside him, thunder rumbling. But maybe we are. To them. Levi turned, eyes searching. Don't let M in your head. Too late. The dam broke, words spilling. the diner's sting, the project's weight, fear that their foundation cracked. Levi listened, then stood, pulling Ronald to the window. Rain lashed panes, lightning etching their reflections. Look, this house held through winter. It'll hold us. He kissed Ronald then, urgent, hands framing his face. They stumbled to the bedroom, shedding clothes like burdens, bodies colliding in a frenzy of need. Levi pinned him to the mattress, thrusts deep and claiming, growls mingling with pleas. Feel me? Levi gasped, hips grinding. This is real. Ronald clung, nails raking, climax crashing like waves, release, but revelation. They weren't broken. They were bent, resilient. May bloomed betrayal anew, not from family, but fracture within. Levi's promotion came, but at cost, travel, weekends in Cleveland schmoozing dealers. Ronald buried in eerie deadlines, commutes blurring days. Texts shortened, miss you to late again. One Friday, Ronald home early, found the garage light on Levi's truck missing, but a jacket slung over the bench, cologne faint and foreign. Paranoia or truth? He waited, pacing, until headlights swept the drive at 1 a.m. Levi stumbled in, Tyascu, breath whiskey sour. Client dinner. Ran long, Ronald's arms crossed. With who? Levi's eyes dodged. Team. Why? The jacket. Smells like someone else. Silence. Then Levi's laugh hollow. Jesus, Ron. Paranoia now? After everything. It's not. But it was. The seed, planted by family scorn, sprouted doubt. Levi stepped close, hands on shoulders. Trust me. Like I trust you with those late nights in Erie. Touch ignited, but wariness lingered. They fell into bed. Mechanical kisses obligatory. Release hollow. Morning brought apologies over eggs. Levi's arms tight. We're good. Stressed. That's all. Ronald nodded, but the crack widened. The high point hit mid-June. Ground broken on the pavilion. Marta toasting with craft IPAs at the site. To Ronald, architect of tomorrow. Pride swelled. Photos snapped, him in hard hat. Dirt-streaked grin. He texted Mia. Tell them. I'm making beauty from broken. Her reply. Dad saw the article. Silent. Progress. Maybe. Back home. Levi waited with candles. Steak searing. Heard about the groundbreaking. My star. Dinner led to dessert in the sheets. Levi worshipping with mouth and hands. Drawing Ronald's cries till neighbors might complain. Love you, Levi panted. Spent and sated. Always. But July's heatwave baked secrets. Levi's trips multiplied. Detroit now. Alibis thin. Ronald. Scrolling idle one night. Found it. A LinkedIn like on a post from Client Appreciation. Levi tagged. Arm around a sharp-suited man. Smiles too intimate. Heart hammering. He confronted over breakfast. Who's Alex? Levi froze. Fork midway. Dealer from Cleveland. Networking. Bullshit. Ronald shoved the phone. That touch. The look. It's nothing. Levi's voice cracked. God. Ron. After all we've. Then why hide? Tears hot. Family's right. I'm not enough. Levi reached. But Ronald recoiled. Space. I need. Out. The door slammed. Levi's truck roared away. Alone. Ronald sank to the floor. sobs echoing empty rooms. Betrayal, not family's laugh, but love's fracture. The house, once proof, mocked him now. July's swelter clung like regret, the bungalow's fans whirring futile against the humidity that seeped into bones and souls alike. Ronald moved through days on autopilot, drafting at the firm, forcing smiles for Marta's check-ins. Evenings alone with takeout and TV static. Levi's texts piled unanswered. Babe, talk. Please. Each a pebble eroding resolve. He crashed on the couch, avoiding the bed that smelled of them, ghosts in the sheets. Mia called that first weekend, voice tentative. Ronnie? Levi messaged, said you fought. Bad. Worse. He paced the kitchen, linoleum cool under bare feet. Caught him. Close to some guy. After everything, the house, the fights. Feels like I built this for nothing. Nothing? Mia's scoff was fierce. You built a home. That's everything. That. He's asking about you. Quietly. Saw the pavilion pics. Muttered boys got talent. Shock rippled. Talent? After the bank stunt. People change slow, like glaciers. Or don't. But you're avalanche now. Don't let this bury you. Her words lingered. Faint thaw. Monday. Ronald returned to work. But focus frayed, lines blurring on screens. Coffee bitter. Marta noticed, cornering him by the copier. Spill. Jenkins. You're sketching like Picasso on acid. Personal shit. He sighed. Relenting. Boyfriend. Maybe ex. Lied. She nodded. No pity, just truth. Love's a blueprint, kid. Sometimes revisions hurt. But erase wrong, and you lose the structure. Philosophy from the boss. He took it to heart. Journaling late. Memories of Levi's laugh in the garage. Hands oil black and tender. Their first dance in the living room. Radio crooning Springsteen. Was it all facade? Levi appeared Tuesday evening, knocking like a stranger. Ronald opened the door. Chain on petty, but armor. Levi looked wrecked. Stubble shadowing jaw. Eyes hollow. Can I in? 5 minutes. Chain rattled free. They sat at the table. Distance a chasm. Alex. Levi started. Voice gravel. Was a client. Dinner turned drinks. He flirted. I shut it down. But the pic? Yeah. Too close. Stupid. And I hid 'cause I knew it'd look bad. After the family crap. The doubt. I panicked. Ronald's throat tightened. Panicked? Or tempted? Levi's hand reached. Hovering. Never. You're it, Ron. The house. This life. It's you. I fucked up hiding. Not heart. Tears pricked. I need to believe that. Then let me show. Levi stood, circling the table, pulling Ronald up into arms that trembled. The kiss started tentative, salt of tears, then deepened, Levi's hands fisting shirt, bodies aligning like puzzle pieces long misplaced. They didn't make it to bed. The table sufficed, urgent and raw, Levi dropping to knees, mouth hot and apologetic, drawing gasps that echoed forgiveness. Ronald hauled him up, turning the tables, pushing Levi back, hands exploring with possessive fire, thrusts against edge till they shattered together, breaths mingling in aftershocks. Forgiven, Levi whispered, forehead to knee. Not yet, but the crack sealed, tentative. Rebuilding began haltingly. Date nights enforced, walks in Skenley Park, Hands laced defying stares. Cooking classes where Levi's doughy attempts dissolved in laughter. The house healed 2 gardens planted. Herbs thriving in raised beds Ronald built. Levi's touch grew reverent. Nights of marathon intimacy. Oils and whispers. Exploring edges they'd shied from. Levi's fingers curling just right. Voice husky with mine. Always. August brought reconciliation's whisper. Mia texted, family picnic. Neutral ground? Dad wants to see the place. Heart stuttered. Ronald showed Levi. Your call. Together. Levi's grin. Boyish. Or not at all. The drive to Erie was tense. Levi's hand steady on Ronald's thigh. Radio low with indie folk about mending fences. The park was neutral. Picnic tables under oaks. Lake breeze carrying hot dog smoke. Evelyn spotted them first. Face paling at linked hands. Harold rose slow. Kane assisted, thinner still. Eyes wary. Ronnie. Nod to Levi. Stiff. Heard congratulations on the project. Thanks. Ronald swallowed. Pavilion opens next month. You should come. Murmur from the clan. Aunt Clara's sniff. Uncle Ted's averted gaze. Mia hugged fierce. Whispering brave. Evelyn hovered. Words jammed. Harold cleared throat. The house. Pictures online. Looks sturdy. Levi chuckled soft. We made it that way. Blood. Sweat. Mostly his genius. Awkward beat. Then Harold's grunt, almost smile. Good. A man's judged by his foundations. Evelyn cracked then. Voice small. We were wrong. The laughing. Fear. Not hate. But it hurt you. Tears welled. Hers. Ronald's. Yeah. Deep. Forgive. She reached. Hesitant. Not today. Honest. But. Doors ajar. They left with hugs from Mia. Waves from Harold progress. Glacial. Back home. Euphoria hit. Beers on the porch swing Levi hung. Stars pricking velvet sky. We did it. Ronald breathed. Head on Levi's shoulder. You did. Levi kissed his temple. My architect. September's harvest moon gilded the yard. Tomatoes ripening fat. The pavilion dedication drew crowds. Ribbon cut. Marta beaming. Local paper snapping pics of Ronald mid-speech. This space is for second chances. For building bridges where walls stood. Levi cheered loudest from the front row. Green eyes proud. Post-ceremony. Success buzzed. Dinner at a hilltop bistro. Candlelit. Levi toasting. To walls down. Futures up. Wine flowed. Loosening tongues. Stories swapped. Levi's Iowa tales of corn mazes. Ronald's eerie winters sledding forbidden hills. Back home. Buzz turned blaze. Undressing slow in the foyer. Levi lifting him against wall. Legs wrapping. Rhythm building to crescendo that left marks and memories. But October whispered warning. Levi's ex from Des Moines surfaced email. Innocuous. Heard you're settled. Happy for you. Coffee if in town. Levi deleted. But Ronald saw. Old scar itching. Nothing, Levi assured. But travel ramped. Chicago now. Contracts closing. Ronald trusted. Mostly. Nights alone. He wandered rooms. Touching traces. Levi's razor by sink. Flannel on chair. Loneliness crept. Bridged by calls. Sultry. Levi's voice low. Touch yourself for me. Slow. November's chill returned. But warmth bloomed within. Thanksgiving. Their table. Mia guessed. No Eries but no voids. Turkey carved. Stories spun. Levi's hand under table a constant. Post-feast. Sheets tangled again, lazy, loving. Levi's mouth mapping scars real and imagined. Then, the call. Harold. Wheezing. Stroke. Hospital. Come. Ronald drove through sleet. Levi shotgun. Erie General's halls smelled of antiseptic and finality. Harold pale in bed. Evelyn tear-streaked by side. Son, Harold rasped. Hand extended. Ronald took it. Pulse weak but there. Dad. Proud. Word gasped. House. You. Built good. Tears fell. Levi squeezed Ronald's shoulder from the doorway. Silent sentinel. Evelyn hugged after, fierce. Breaking. We see now. Love him. Like we should have you. Harold lingered days. Mending slow. Visits became routine. Levi included. Initial stiffness thawing to nods. Even a beer shared with Harold in the sunroom. Treat him right, Harold told Levi. Gruff. Or I'll haunt ya. Laughter. First real in years. December healed deeper. Christmas. Full table Mia. Neighbors. Even Uncle Ted tentative. Gifts exchanged. Ronald's sketch of the family homestead. Restored in ink. Levi's compass engraved. True north. Midnight mass skipped for home. Carols by fire. Then bed. Bodies entwined in Yuletide glow. Levi's thrusts gentle. Whispers eternal. But fate's twist. New Year's Eve. Levi's phone buzzed mid-countdown. Chicago emergency. Deal collapsing. Go, Ronald urged. We've got time. He didn't return till dawn. Face drawn. Fixed it. But Alex again. Pushed boundaries. Told him off, permanently. Relief, but resolve hardened. No more hiding. Or doubting. Promise. Sealed with kiss under fireworks. Spring 2020 loomed. But whispers of plague stirred news of a virus from afar. They shrugged it off. Focused on expansions. Nursery planned. Adoption talks tentative. The house, once symbol of proof, now cradle of possibility. Yet climax brewed. May, during a rare joint trip to Erie for Harold's checkup, Evelyn pulled Ronald aside. Found letters. Yours, unsent. We kept them. Read now. Bundle pressed into hands. Pages yellowed. Words raw with pain and plea. Back home. Ronald read aloud to Levi by lamplight. Voice cracking. This is us, he finished. Forged in fire. Levi's eyes shone. Marry me. Knee drop. Ring simple silver band. Etched vines. Yes, Ronald breathed, pulling him up into joy's embrace. Wedding small. June backyard. Mia officiating. Neighbors toasting. Vows exchanged under arbor. In laughter and tears. I choose you. Rings slid. Kiss sealed. Crowd cheering as they danced. Levi's arms home. But pandemic crashed. Lockdowns. Jobs remote. World shrinking. Isolation tested. Cabin fever sparking spats. But deepened bonds, movie marathons. Baking fails. Intimacy inventive, mirrors fogged. Toys explored in quarantine hush. Harold's recovery full by fall. Visit planned. Bring the boy, he said. Family now. Proof. At last. 2020's shadow lengthened. COVID's grip turning streets to ghosts and homes to fortresses. The bungalow, once echoing with hammers, now hummed with hushed routines. Ronald's Zoom calls from the dining nook. Levi's virtual diagnostics in the garage. Masks dangling like talismans by the door. News blared doom, hospitals strained, economies fracturing, but inside their walls, resilience rooted deeper. Gardens exploded, tomatoes sauce-bound, basil perfuming air. Date nights morphed to candlelit puzzles. Levi's foot nudging Ronald's under table, ice promising escapes. Intimacy evolved in confinement's forge. Mornings lazy. Levi waking him with mouth warm and insistent, drawing moans that chased nightmares. Afternoons stolen. Quickies in the shower. Water cascading as Levi pressed him to tile. Fingers slick and sure. Gasps muffled by steam. Can't get enough? Levi growled. Always. Night's marathon, blindfolds, feathers. Levi's voice commanding soft. Ronald surrendering to waves that crested endless. It was therapy, tether, love's language when words faltered. But isolation amplified echoes. Mia's visits halted. Erie's cases spiking. Calls with Evelyn turned rote. Harold's grumbles about damn masks. Veiled apologies in small talk. We miss you, she'd say, voice cracking. Ronald missed too, the boy who'd fished with Dad, baked with Mom. But scars puckered, tender. October brought fractures echo. Levi's dealership furloughed half-staff, his role precarious. Stress etched him. Pacing midnight kitchen, whiskey neat. Ronald found him one night, glass in hand, staring at old photos, Des Moines youth, arm around a ghost. Alex, Ronald ventured, heart clenching. Levi startled. Nah. Just passed. Quarantines got me twisted. Feeling trapped. Trapped? Echo hurt. Here? With me. Levi set glass down, pulling him close. God. No. With this world closing in. But you? Anchor. Kiss followed. Desperate, teeth clashing. Hands bruising. They tumbled to rug. Frenzy raw. Levi atop. Thrusts punishing self more than sin. Ronald arching to meet. Nails drawing red lines. Climax shattered. Leaving Levi collapsed. Sobs muffled in shoulder. Sorry. For everything doubts. Hides. You're my north. Forgiven, Ronald whispered, stroking hair. Always. November elections polarized airwaves. But their bubble held ballots mailed. Debates dissected over soup. Thanksgiving solo Zoom with Mia. Virtual toast to survival. To proving wrong, she said. Eyes misty. Harold's call post-feast. Come Christmas. Vaccines comin'. Family. Invitation laced hope. They planned. Tree taller. Menu fused. Evelyn's pie. Levi's ribs. Winter deepened. Snow blanketing yard like absolution. Levi's job held. Remote shifts. But steady. Ronald's firm boomed. Pandemic pivots to virtual spaces yielding contracts. One evening, sketching nursery motifs, soft curves, starry ceilings, he felt it. Expansion, not just walls but worlds. December dawned crisp. Vaccines trickling. Tests negative. They drove to eerie Christmas Eve. Masks on. Hearts open. The Cape Cod glowed. Wreaths cheery. Harold answered. Cane steadier. Embrace awkward but real. Boys, he rumbled, including Levi. Evelyn hovered. Pie cooling on sill. Missed you. Dinner strained at first, small talk skirting scars. Ted's jokes landing flat. Then Mia prodded. Show him the nursery sketches. Ronnie. Papers spread. Ooze rose. Harold traced a line. Solid. Like your ma's recipe, tried and true. Laughter bubbled. Genuine. Post-meal. Fire crackled. Stories flowed. Levi's Iowa winters. Ronald's mill escapes. Evelyn pulled Ronald aside. We read the letters. Oh. We're sorry, for laughs. Sabotage. Pride blinded us. Tears shared. Hug fierce. Love you, Mom. Doors open. Harold cornered Levi by hearth. Take care of him. He's ours. Always, sir. Handshake firm. Drive home snow-dusted. Levi's hand in Ronald's. Family. Real one. New Year's dawned, vaccines widespread. World exhaling. They hosted. Neighbors. Mia flying in. Even Ted tentative. Fireworks popped. Rings glinted, vows renewed in whispers. Spring 2021 bloomed, vaccines full. Restrictions lifting. Adoption agency visits began, home studies. Interviews laced nerves and joy. 2 dads, Ronald told the social worker. Levi's arm around. Building love. Brick by brick. Approval came summer. Match. Toddler boy. Eyes wide like Levi's. Little Jamie arrived August. Chaos of bottles and blocks. Nights sleepless. But Levi's lullabies off-key. Perfect. Melted exhaustion. Ronald watched them. Heart full, fatherhood's proof. Eerie visits routine now. Harold doting on Jamie. Evelyn baking extras. Grandma's boy. She'd coo. Scars faded to lines. October marked 3 years in the house. Party backyard. Lanterns strung. Grill smoking. Toasts rang. Marta on designs. Mia on resilience. Harold visiting on foundations. Levi pulled Ronald aside. Under arbor. Remember the hook? Tears. Laughs. We proved them. Us. Kiss soft. Jamie giggling nearby. Pandemic waned. But lessons lingered. Love's not phase. But forge chromatic. Emotional. Romantic. Human. The bungalow stood. Not just home. But testament. Family redefined. Tears transmuted to triumph. Years blurred. Jamie's first steps on porch. Architecture firm partnership for Ronald. Levi's shop bought out. Erie's full embrace. Harold's toast at Jamie's baptism. To choosing right. One dusk. Ronald on swing. Levi beside. Jamie asleep inside. Worth it? Levi asked. Every tear. Hand squeeze. Sunset gilding. World vast proved wrong. But oh, so right.